Now we're going to have a look at three functions. The first one is strlen, or the string length function, and the string length function allows you to determine the number of characters in the strings that you have in your program. The second function that we're going to have a look at is the strcpy, or the string copy method, and this function allows you to copy the contents of one string into another. And the last function that we're going to check out in this tutorial is the strcat, or the string concatenate function, and that function allows you to append the contents of one string to another, right? So the first one that we're going to have a look at is the strlen method, and as you can see, using code blocks, I've saved a file. I've given it the name string functions part1.c, and on line 1 in this file I have the stdio.h header file. On line 2 I have another header file, and this one I would be needing because the functions that I'm going to use in this program require this header file to be present in the program, right? So it's called string.h, and you include it in the same way as you include the stdio.h header file, right? On line 3 I have declared the main function, and currently within the main function I have just one executable statement, and the statement on line 5 declares a string, and it's actually a one-dimensional array of characters, and we know that we have to declare strings in this way, right? So the name of the array is str1, and I haven't specified the size of the array, so the square brackets are empty, and the data type of the array is obviously char or char, and the string currently holds have a nice day, right? And there are 3 dots after the last word day in the string. So we're going to have a look at the strlen method now, and I'm going to display the number of characters in the string through the printf statement, of course. So I'll type in printf, right? And since the size is going to be an integer, we'll have to use the %d format specifier to display the value of it. But before we do that, let's display a simple message like the size of the string is, and then I'll put in the %d format specifier. After the second double quotation mark, I'll type in strlen, and then within parentheses I'll just type in the name of my string, which is str1, right? I'll put in a semicolon at the end of this statement, and then I'll click on build and run, and in the output window we see that the size of the string is 18, right? So the string holds 18 characters according to the strlen function. Let's count the number of characters now. So the word have has 4, and then there's the alphabet A, that makes the total 5, and then nice has 4, so that takes the total to 9, and then you've got day, that's got 3 characters, that takes a total to 12, and then you have 3 dots, right? So these are also characters, and the dot takes the dots take the total to what, 15, and then you have 3 space characters between the words in the string. So you know, if you add all the characters, and you get the total count as 18, right? So this is one difference between the strlen method and the size of method that we had a look at in the previous tutorial. When you use size of, you get the total, you know, blocks of memory that the string or the array has been allocated, right? So when you use size of, the compiler also considers the null character that is added at the end of your string as a terminating character, whereas when you use the strlen method, you know, the null character is not considered a part of the string, and you just get the number of characters in your string, right? So that's about the strlen function. The next function that we're going to have a look at is the strcpy function, and as I said before, this function is going to take 2 arguments, and both are going to be of string type, and you know, let's have a look at it. And in order to understand the strcpy method, I'll need another string in my program, so I'll declare another array, and I'll call this one str2, and I won't specify the size of it, but since we cannot declare empty arrays like this, I'll initialize it this way, right? So within the pair of curly braces I won't mention anything, but this string currently does not hold any information, right? It just has a null character, and you know, it doesn't have anything else. So now we're going to use the strcpy function, and the syntax of this function states that you have to first mention the destination string. So since we want the contents of str1 to be copied to str2, str2 here is our destination string, and the str1 is our source string, right? So I'll type in str2 first, I'll put a comma, and then I'll type in str1. I'll put a semicolon at the end to terminate the statement, and then I'll use printf with the %s format specifier to see the contents of str 2, right? So I'll put in a semicolon at the end, and when I click on build and run, I see that in the output window I get have a nice day, right? So this is also the str1 string. So the contents of str1 have been copied to str2, and when we see the str2 string, we actually see the str1 string, right? So that's about the strcpy method. The next one that we're going to have a look at is the string concatenate function, and I'll get rid of these two statements here, and I'll modify the str2 string. I'll change its value, and initialize it with and an amazing night, right? So on the next line I'll get in a printf function, because we'll be needing that to see the result of the concatenation operation, right? And within double quotes I'll put the %s format specifier. After the second double quotation mark I'll type in strcat, that's the name of the function, and then within parentheses I'll type in the first string, which is str1, and since we want the contents of str2 to be concatenated or appended to str1, I'll type in the str2 string name after the comma symbol, right? And I'll put in a semicolon to terminate the statement. I'll save the file, and when I click on build and run now, I see that in the output window I get have a nice day and an amazing night.